Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm doing a diptych and I'm doing a split base. So what I mean by that is I'm using two base colours per canvas. So I've decided to use a black and a warm grey. And then over the top, I'm going to use some metallics, but I'm going to take you down to see the canvases, how I've prepared them, and I'll show you my consistencies along with the colour palette itself. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a great week. Let's see what we can create. So here are the paints that I'm going to use today. I've got two brands. I'm using Pebeo and Amsterdam. I'm using a neutral grey and a lamp black for my base. I think I said a warm grey in my intro, but it's actually, as you can see, it's a neutral grey and a lamp black. And then I'm using these three iridescent colours by Pebeo. So silver, gold and copper. So that's the colour palette. I've prepared my canvases by painting my sides. So I do that so when I do a creation, I don't have to worry too much about the coverage on the sides. So you can see there, I've already painted them and I'm going to do a split base. So half grey, half black. These are the colours. So there's the neutral grey and the lamp black. I've mixed these with pouring medium and water. Check out the description box for all the ratios. And then again, pouring medium and water with each of these colours. So you can see there's the silver, there's the gold and the copper. Really gorgeous colours. So I think they're going to work really well against this black and this grey. So I'm ready. Let's go. So I'm doing a split base. So I'm adding the black first. I'm going to add the black in this section here for this canvas and this section here for the other canvas. And I always say, and I'm going to repeat myself, especially if you've watched me for a while, if you can get your consistency right on the canvas, on that base, then everything should be able to flow well on top. So I've now placed that neutral grey in the other sections, and this is why it's a split base. It's because there's two colours on that base. I'm using my torch to pop any air bubbles, and this mixture that I'm using isn't my usual Dutch pour mixture. I wanted to try and show how to use metallics and not create cells. So I'm using a thicker mixture to minimise any cell formation. So I'm just blowing the mixture across the surface area of the canvas. And my blow dryer is on a cool setting and the lowest blow speed. That's what I find most useful when using the blow dryer for this type of technique. So I said that the mixture was a bit thicker than my usual Dutch pour. So when I usually do a Dutch pour, I just use a paint and water combination with a ratio of 1:1. But this time I'm also using pouring medium. That's just going to make that mixture a little bit thicker, which means that there's less chance of that cell formulation, because it's about the densities of the paint that create cells naturally. So I'm actually using my usual ratios when I do like a puddle pour or a ring pour. So I'm using 1 part paint, 1 part water, 3 parts pouring medium. So I'm just going to make sure the black and the grey fully cover the surface area, and then we'll continue with the layering of the paints. So I'm now going to take the metallic colours, the gold, the silver and the copper, and I'm literally placing those colours where the grey and the black meet on the canvas. So as you can see, I'm starting with the gold and just placing a layer of paint between that grey and that black. And I'm going to do that again with the silver and then the copper. I'm going to place the silver more against the black area and the copper against the grey. And I'm just adding a little bit more of that base colour, so more of the grey and more of the black, just to help with the flow of the paint when I use my blow dryer and blow those metallics from the middle to the outer edge. So as always, I'm going to use my blow dryer on a cool setting and the lowest blow speed. And now it's about blowing that paint that's been layered in the centre, so the gold, the silver and the copper, across that area where the grey and the black are on the canvas. It's really about looking at the pattern that happens when you blow the paint and also the balance of the negative space with the paint that we've layered. So a balance of that black and grey against those metallics. And I'm just taking my time, just using my blow dryer to blow that paint in the direction that I want it to flow. And if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like. That really helps me reach people across YouTube who might be interested in the art form that I'm doing. So a big thank you in advance for doing that. And if you're also enjoying the video and you're thinking of a colour palette that you'd love me to test out in this kind of technique, then drop those colours below. Let me know what you'd love to see. I'm really loving the effect that this one's having, and I'm enjoying the composition. And it's okay to just tweak that composition. If you need to add more paint, then just add some more paint. What I would say, it's always easier to add more paint and tweak your composition rather than have too much paint on your canvas and blow lots of paint off the canvas and down the edges onto your table. So I'm just going to tweak a few more areas, but I think I'm really happy with this. I love that black and that grey background and how those metallics are going to pop over the top. And because I've used a thicker mixture, that's minimised any cell formulation. So as you can see, I've used a grey and a black base. I've layered metallics on top and blown them across those two colours. And there really isn't any cells, and that's because of the density of the paint. If I was to use just a paint and water combination, then there would be lots and lots of cells by doing exactly the same technique and exactly the same process. So I'm just going to pop any excess air bubbles with my torch, and then I'm going to take my palette knife and just tidy up the sides, and I'm just removing all the drips of paint that have dripped down around those edges. Let me take you in now for a close look at the wet version, and then I'll let this dry and I'll come back and show you the dry version, and you won't want to miss it because it's probably one of the best that I've done this year. So are you ready to see the dry version? Here we go. It's fully dry. I love it. I love that it hasn't really changed. I'll take you in just to see some of those colours and how they pop against that grey and the black. And I just love how they've infused together. I love how this is a diptych set, but it's slightly different. And you can see there's just a small cluster of cells. So the majority of it I managed without the cells. That's because of the thicker mixture. But in that area where the cells are, that's probably because that silver and that black really kind of infused and was a bit thinner than the rest of the paints. I'm really happy with this. I hope you love it too. Let me know in the comments below what you think and what colours you'd love me to experiment with using this technique. A big thank you to each and every one of you for your support week on week. I wouldn't be here without you, so thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have a great week ahead, and whatever you're up to creatively, I hope you're having fun. And I really hope I get to see you again in the next video. Take care everyone, have a great week ahead, and I'll see you soon. Bye!